becoming an excellent student is becoming a student that is productive and also a good Christian is your aim this 2024, then welcome. You are in the right channel. This channel is about helping you become all you want to be without being a mediocre or a liability to the society. So I'm Dr. Onyinye, and today I'm bringing to you the difference between passive and active study so I can help you learn how to study. One thing a good student does is to learn how to read. Yes, we don't just jump into reading without learning how to read, because so many of us will spend so many hours studying, and at the end of every study we discover that we can't even remember anything we've studied. Maybe we might have studied passively, and today I'm to bring to our notice the difference between passive and active studies. But before I delve into our discussion, I would like you to take 1 second of your time to like this video and also to share to your friends so that they can also find value the way you're about to find value. Thank you for sharing this video and thank you for liking the video. Don't forget to comment and tell me how the video has helped you. This video took a lot of work, and a way of appreciating me is to like and comment. Thank you very much. So what is passive study? Passive study is when one consumes a lot of information through listening, through reading, through rereading, through watching, through highlighting, doing a lot of things just to put information into your brain without anything that will make you bring out this information from your brain, without any study method that will help you to know if this information you are putting into your brain is actually there. So that is passive reading. So whenever you see yourself just reading and rereading, highlighting, listening, watching without taxing yourself, you are studying passively. That is passive method of reading. Then what is active study method? So active study is the processing of information by engaging the content through discussion, analysis, problem solving, reflection, questioning, and practice. In active study, you are trying to connect your learning to the world. But in passive study, you are isolating your study with the rest of the world. You are isolating learning from life outside school. In active study, the student prepares for class. In passive study, the student goes to class, of course, to listen once again to the lecturer. But in active study, the student prepares for class. When the lecturer is passing information, the student is judging with what he or she already knows. That is actively listening to class, while a passive learner is taking in everything with the hope of rereading the note when he or she goes back home. In active reading, you are trying to construct a meaning from what you are studying. What exactly am I supposed to get from this context? What is the writer trying to point out from this context? Am I getting what I'm supposed to get? I'm thinking about what I'm reading. I'm trying to explain what I'm reading in my own words. And if I don't understand what I'm reading, I will try to go online and browse the meaning of what I am studying so that I can have a better understanding of whatever I'm studying. So by this, I am constructing meaning from what I am studying. The second thing is create a question and answer. While studying a book or while studying a material, that is why I thought of making flashcards. While studying any material, don't just study. There are some important points that you will see. Maybe the one your lecturer talked about in class, or the ones that you think maybe while going through MCQ questions, you saw some of those questions, and as you are reading, you are seeing the question. The ideal thing is to write down these questions and try to know if you can provide the answers. Don't just study and be going. Stop at every point you see a question that can be of help in your exam. Write it down, write down the answer so that at the end of the study you can ask yourself those questions and you can answer it. So generate question and answer while studying. Some students will want to dodge this process because they think that writing down is something that can be tough. So they try to highlight important points. Please, as much as you can, try to avoid highlighting because that is also a passive way of studying. Instead of highlighting, why not write down the question and then the answer? Because there's something highlighting does to us. It brings us into this illusion of competence that we know this particular thing while we don't know it. So highlighting will make you think that, oh, it's already highlighted, but the fact that it is highlighted in your book is that particular thing highlighted in your brain. So as much as you can, avoid highlighting while studying. The next thing, of course, which is also similar to what I have said before, is to practice questions and answer. This time around, it might not be the question that you generated yourself. It can be the question that you got online or your study material. You, after each studying, try as much as you can to answer questions in line with what you have studied. This will help you to know if you have assimilated this information. Remember, in active studying, we are all about trying to figure out if what we are reading is being deposited in our memory and not just, reading it for reading's sake. So anything that can help you to test what you have read is an active method of studying. So try to answer questions. Don't just rush to another topic when you've not even checked whether what you've read is there or not. The next one is to become a teacher. Always like to bring up Feynman's technique whenever I'm talking about becoming a teacher. Get a book, write down everything you know about a particular topic. If there is anyone you don't remember while writing it down, it means there is a gap in that memory. So you get back your notes and you fill up this gap. Alternatively, this is what you will do. Try to teach what you've learned to a child. Maybe you can call your friend and teach your friend whatever you've read like a child. If you can't teach your friend whatever you've learned, then you don't know it. The next thing to do is to go back to your notes and fill up the memory gaps. And you see that next time you're trying to teach your friend, those gaps will be filled up and then you will flow. So Feynman's technique encourages us to always teach. Don't use a note to teach. Try to teach offhand. Don't use anything. So you are teaching from your brain. Whatever you don't remember while teaching, don't panic. At least you are not doing this for the first time in the examination hall. You are doing it outside exam. So whatever you forget while teaching your friend, go back to your notes, go through your notes and fill up the gap, the memory gap. And see that next time you try doing that, you will see that you will be better. And whenever you are teaching and you start saying, I don't know how to explain this, it means that you too don't understand it. So whenever you're teaching and you find yourself saying, I know this thing, but I don't know how to explain it to you for you to understand, it means that you don't understand it. So you have to go back to understand it first, because once you understand a concept, you can teach that concept to a primary school baby. The next thing is to make connection. Yes, don't just study a book like you're studying this book and you are isolating this book from everything you've known before. While studying, try to make connections with what you already know before. For example, in your final year 600 level, you are studying your internal medicine and you are reading chronic kidney disease, right? And then you discovered that chronic kidney disease can cause anemia. Don't just stop there. Don't just take in this information and run off to write it in the exam. Ask yourself this question: why would chronic kidney disease cause anemia? And that will take you back to your physiology, where you did erythropoiesis, and you discover the function of kidney in erythropoiesis. Kidney produces a hormone called erythropoietin, right? And this erythropoietin helps in what? Red blood cell synthesis. It plays a major role in red blood cell synthesis. Imagine when the kidney is now damaged, what will happen to this hormone? Obviously, it will not be produced. And when it is not produced, red blood cell production will be retarded. And when red blood cell production is retarded, what will happen? Anemia. So you've made connection with what you are reading right now, with what you read in your physiology 3 years ago. So don't just take any information. Try as much as you can to make connections. There is a theory called the Hebbian theory. The more connections you make, the more you strengthen the axons and the neurons responsible for memory storage. Try as much as you can to make connections whenever you are studying any book at all. The next thing about active study is that you have to understand before memorizing. Yes, I know many students, they try to memorize a lot of things without understanding it. For example, when I was in 300 level, we have something we call metabolism. We are trying to learn the different ways food, they are broken down in the body and they are stored. Some of these things are really hard to understand, so what we do is that we just cram it, and we discover that we end up cramming, and the next day we've already forgotten it, and the next time we have to cram again, until this particular lecturer had to break it down for us. When he was teaching about like policies, he broke it down so much that I don't need to cram this, it's part of me. I just have to figure it out. Okay, when the body is in need of this, the fat will start being broken down, and it's broken down from this level to this level to this level. I sometimes even use diagram to teach us that it was something that I cherished so much that I had to apply that same principle in other metab, like my carbohydrate metab. I had to applying that principle in my metabolism, and metab became one of my best. It became my best course in 300 level, because there is no metab question that I can't answer. It's just like that, because I applied that same principle. I understood the concept before memorizing it. So when I understood it, memorizing it was now very simple. Knowing the enzymes, before I was always trying to remember the enzymes because I don't know this thing, so I had to cram the enzymes. I've understood the concept, and now it was very, very easy for me to learn my metab. I understood before I started memorizing. So please, before you memorize something, I know medical students, we love memorizing a lot, especially that pathway. We just memorize it and let's just go and pour it in the exam and go. It won't benefit you like that if you keep memorizing like that. So before you memorize, try to understand the concept so that you don't memorize blindly. So the next one is the 1 minute review. Yes, 1 minute review can play a crucial role in helping you understand or helping you know what you have studied. Most times you might not have time to start answering questions, start recalling, but then what would 1 minute review do for you is a very short time to sit down and recall everything you've read. I know most of you be like, recall again. Yes, one thing about recall is that it helps you to know what you know. It helps you to know what you know. So I won't stop, I won't end my active study video without bringing in recall. It's just for you to know, okay, I've studied this for like 2 hours now. I'm using 1 minute to summarize what you've learned from this. So after studying, you are closing your book and then, okay, I've studied stroke, and from this I've learned what a stroke is this. I've learned the risk factors for stroke, they include this. I've learned the types of stroke, they include this. I've learned the difference between the types of stroke and how to recognize them, this. And also I've learned the investigations I can do for any patient that has stroke, this, okay. And then finally, I think I've learned how to manage stroke. First is to understand this, okay. So now within 1 minute you've pointed out what you've learned, but then when pointing it out, don't be saying this. Say it. I'm just in a video, okay. Say it, okay, so that you can have that confidence that you learned something. So after each learning, use 1 minute and recall to know if you've learned. The plan is for you to know if this is there. Finally, form a framework of what you want to study. A passive reader can actually pick up a textbook and start reading the textbook from beginning to the end passively. An active reader will not do that. An active reader will pick a topic from this textbook. Okay, today I want to read heart failure, and you are reading everything about this heart failure, and will tell you everything about heart failure. So it's always good to form a framework of what you want to study. Don't just delve into studying without having what you want to study in mind. So form a framework of what you want to study and keep to it. Study it, teach, answer questions under it, and then review. Okay, so the last one is pray before you study and pray after you study. Sometimes I don't remember this, but it's very, very important. Sometimes you are just very fast to study, but that's 1 minute 30 seconds of praying can actually help you to study. That is why it's always good to start up any journey with God and ending it with God. So when you want to study, it's always good to just say a word of prayer. Lord, I receive the grace to study, help me, strengthen me, give me strength to study. I speak against every spirit of distraction. Okay, you can just pray, say a simple prayer that will not even last for 30 seconds. After that, you study, and after you study, you just thank God for being with you. And there is this strength I do get when I pray before I study and when I don't pray before I study. I don't know, I'm not just being too religious, but I know that God factor in everything is number one factor. So always pray before you study and always pray after you are done studying. It adds to the strength, it adds to the retention, it adds to the memorization, because God himself loves excellence. So whenever you call him, he comes down and he's holding your hands and he's guiding you throughout the process of studying. So thank you for staying to the end of this video. I would entertain any question in the comment section. So is dedicated to my friend Ifeyinwa. She was the one that asked me for this video, and I hope this video will help you to learn how to study actively and not passively. Please don't forget to like this video,